All the beautiful people. How's it going, people? My name is John Shaughnessy, and I'm here to set the record straight one more time. All right, solved. Missing flight, maybe a little bit over the top on that one, but we'll wait and see until the end of the video. Missing flight MH370, missing in 2014. Flight MH370, March 8th, 2014, out of Malaysia, went interdimensional and slipped into a wormhole, just like Flight 914 out of New York to Miami did on July 2nd, 1955. Only returned to Caracas, Venezuela Airport runway on May 21st, 1992. Okay, the moon opens up portals to wormholes that escape the time trap Earth is in. These planes and passengers are experiencing something described in Einstein's theory of relativity and special relatives of traveling at the speed of light. The plane uses no fuel and the passengers do not age. They are still experiencing the flight without the bondage of time. Time, another four-letter word we will get into. Okay, in essence, they have slipped the bondage of time and are in the wormhole where they can come back to this dimension. It's possible they are not moving, but we are. All right, let's get into it. You just don't pull back. You know, Bigfoot still could be alive. All right, and the pyramids still could be tombs. Don't freak out on me now. We're trying to get these people back, man. They're trapped. All right. Now this is just a couple of GIFs just showing the plane taking off. It's supposed to be going that way, but it ends up coming out here, and then it's going south. So basically, it did an interdimensional slip, you know, time slip that I'm theorizing. Okay, now just hold on. Wait until the end of the video. Don't shut it off yet. I'm going to make a point here. Just like that Kennedy assassinated, the last video I put out. End all, be all. Game, set, and match. All net. I win, you know. So anyway, here's the plane. Big plane, huh? 270 souls on that plane. 227 plus 12 crew, I think. Yeah. So I mean, it's just give you some stuff here. You know how many people were lost. 227, 12 crew member. Last contact. There's things of that nature. Again, you know, they were up. Obviously, they got into they were half in, half out. You know, you lose your instrumentations. You're in a time slip. You're in a stream. You're a wormhole, if you will. And this actually proves what I'm talking about. This event that happened proves without a doubt that these people are actually outside the time constraints that we're suffering from here on Earth. This is your Mystery of DC-4 plane, and the plane landed after 37 years. What is the significance of 37 years? That's 2 moon metonic cycles. Okay, 18 and a half, 18 and a half, right? 18 and 18, 36, half and half, 37. So it tells me, and anybody else is paying attention, that the moon is the one driving these portals, okay? Now, a lot of these planes happen to slip out on a first quarter or a, you know, before a full moon. It's like when the moon and the sun are in alignment, and you have you know, no moon, you know, visible to Earth, and then all of a sudden, you know, the moon starts to, you know, pull out of that alignment. There's a vortex that's being created. Not to mention, there's other planets on the inner solar system here. Inside the well, you got Jupiter's a big player also, but inside the asteroid belt that also magnify the gravitational pull and tug. And when we're talking about gravity, we're talking about stretching time. You know, go back to the future with Michael J. Fox there. You know, I mean, it's a time slip. You know, it's a space-time continuum. You know, there's a place where you can pop out and just step out of it, and you're just like in suspended animation, literally. How are you going to function without time? You don't know time's gone, it's not past, you're sitting there with your last thought, like, you know, I hope the hotels are ready for me in Miami, like 37 years ago, you know, so you're just stuck in that 82, get a bunch of years difference. But anyways, the one that's of paramount importance, that was a bad, I shouldn't even put that picture up there. 37 years later, here's the plane. There it is right there. A fine looking machine. And here we go. We got singularity, the horizon. Newsflash, there is no black hole. It's a dark sun. There is no, you know, give me a break, okay? There's no black hole. There never was any. And whoever come up with that term should have his hole removed. Just saying. Just saying. These are time slips, you know, these stretches in gravitational energies that the planet's obviously involved in. And it seems to be the planes, you know, year in and year out, you know, decade out. It's always seems to plane. So altitude plays a big part of, and also the moon's alignment to slip into these little streams that are out there, you know. And also, I believe the pyramids and mountains, they're also lensing this gravitational energy. And so this stuff moves around, you know, it's not in the same place. But it'll be in the same place when the metonic cycle plays out in 18 and a half years from 2014. Should have did the math on that one. But anyways, 18 and a half years later, we go back into that place. They're going to be the same age, and they might even slip out. They could even slip out of the wormhole only to go back in because they don't have enough sense to drop their altitude or raise, you know, to get out of it. You know, drop down and get out of that vortex and then come back in like we see this other plane did. Now here's the air traffic controller that was in communique shown with Flight 914, right? The DC-4 McDouglas, yeah, not McDouglas. It's a Douglas, whatever the hell, McConnell? Yeah, something like that, plane. But anyways, it's irrelevant. You can see what they did to this guy, you know. Say you didn't see it, say you didn't see it. But he said it, he talked it, he let it out. The plane went down, they sent a crew out to go get him. As soon as the crew was going out there, they took off and went back into the portal. Whether they were frightened, I mean, they probably, again, they're not using any fuel, okay? The plane's not using any fuel. These people are outside the realm of time. So they've, to get into their consciousness, you know, a crew of 57 passengers, to get into their consciousness, you have to remove time. And their thoughts that, yeah, they're still waiting for the lady to bring another double scotch down there with some on the rocks, but there's no time. The lady never comes because, you know, that was the last thought in their head. You know, it's just, you know, your brain doesn't work unless you have some time. So anyways, that all being said, they slip out of the wormhole, okay, and they're 1,100 miles off course, okay, so they might have. This is 2 metonic cycles, right? 18 and a half years, right? So the first metonic cycle, they slipped out. They're over the Caribbean. They're in the you know, the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and they probably went back into the vortex because they didn't drop down. Like, you know, this should be like on every pilot's you know, thing to do list of, you know, oh shit, we're in a excuse my French there, oh crap, we're in a vortex, let's drop down and get out of it. You know what I mean? Go to a lower altitude and get out of this thing before we end up, you know, lost and have to wait for the moon to line up again, and then we'll come back in. So once you get into this vortex and the moon gear and the planet gear and the planet's gears and the solar system click out of sequence, you're locked in, you're stuck. You might as well just be, you were removed right from this reality, and you're parked, and you got to wait 18 and a half years for this alignment to come back into play again, and then you slip out, okay? Now, if you don't do the right thing when you slip out, you're going back in again. So which is really bizarre because this guy parks it. You know, they have a communication saying, you know, I'm supposed to, you know, I'm supposed to be landing in Miami. It's 1955, and July 2nd, 1955, and it's 1992, March 1992, that these guys were in Caracas, Venezuela. So, but if you look at the map, you can see they're, you know, they just kept going straight. You know, I mean, if you're looking at Miami, somewhat straight. I mean, you know, Miami a little bit off, but you just cruise across the opening of the Gulf of Mexico, and you end right up in, right there in Venezuela, Caracas, Venezuela. Excuse me. So, I'm throwing a theory out there, but I believe these people are still alive in that dimension. So you're free from time, you know. So they're there, and they could slip back into this reality, you know, and you could communicate with them. So you go out there, you know, we got another 14 years before that alignment comes back into play again with the moon. You could go into the Indian Ocean and send them signals, send them radio signals. So when they do pop out, they'll hear you, and you can tell them, hey, you're in a wormhole. Come down, drop your altitude down to, like, you know, whatever, 20,000 feet. Get down and get out of it. Hopefully they get out of it. Now, that all being said, I mean, their atomic structure could be all reconfigured, reconstructed, but when they come back into this plane, into this dimension, like this plane did, I mean, they came in, landed, had a conversation, and took back off again. They went back up into the portal. So, you know, who knows where they are? So we're you know, we're just lost here. But I'm just throwing this stuff out. It makes a little bit more sense. You got this type of stuff. Now, if you had other things like this, a lot of planes disappear in between the no moon and the first quarter. This plane came back in after the full moon, so it was actually 70% illuminated on the waning side of the moon. So you can see there was like a reverse of the portal going on. I'm not crazy. There's the pilot, right? He's going, what's going on here? We're slipped there. We're you know, we're in, out of everything. So they might not be doing light speed, but the vortex they're in is doing light speed. You following me? So, you know, they're in a vortex or a wormhole that's doing the speed of light, and essentially they're just sitting there, you know. You know, it's like they do the speed of light, and in 100 years you come back, everybody you know is dead, but you're only a year older or something. Anyways, these are the other players in this in these wormholes or vortexes that get or these little streams, if you will, of time slips that happen. And here's the big player. This is the big player. This is the biggest player. It is the biggest gravitational pull and release. This thing opens and closes vortexes all day long. You're just not in the right place to jump out of it. Now, that all being said, who knows? Maybe in a 1,000 years they might get this technology. Go, hey, that nutbag on YouTube had something going on. He was onto something. Yeah, I think he knew what he was talking about. The moon's a big player. It's a huge player. Now we could tap in. If we could tap into these things, you know, obviously we could, be going, intergalactic, and be bopping all over the solar system and the universe. But until that day comes, we need to at least acknowledge these anomalies and try to test it out and see, hey, you know, in another 14 years, the moon's going to be in the exact same alignment. Let's go back. Let's send out some communication to these people and see if they can't hear us. We can contact them. All right, keep your eyes open, because if they don't have any sense to drop their altitude or whatever, shake this wormhole that they're in, they're going to be stuck into it for another 18 and a half years. So it's of very of paramount importance that we get something going. So if you want to, check out my books or support the channel, there you go. Appreciate you watching. And got some more good stuff coming. I go on a sabbatical once in a while, but I'm back. All right. Peace out, people.